One of the big issues which is running around the wireless radio is whether or not Sunak lied in the debate. I use the term very loosely. It's as loose as I would use a term when I'm talking about Putin being alive. In the debate last night, presided over by Juliet or whatever her name was, it wasn't a debate. It was two actors performing their lines, and often not paying much attention to what the other said, just talking over each other. There was a letter on the 24th of May talking about the opposition policy costings by civil servants, and this £38 billion figure includes costs that went well beyond the civil service costs. So it was an exaggeration, and it's referenced in that letter. And despite that, Rishi Sunak continues to promote the idea that that figure is real, because it's on that figure that he takes the conclusion that Keir Starmer is planning a £2,000 increase, £2,000 tax hike on ordinary people. Well, it's not that different to the tax hike that effectively we got by the price of mortgages being put up after 1 month of Liz Truss. But Rishi has since put out a tweet, or a tweet has been put out in Rishi's name, where you've got the sound of Rishi saying 2,000, 2,000, repeating as if it's some sort of mantra, a prayer. It's like a nightmare. 2,000, 2,000, the sound of a deluge. And over this tweet, there's a picture of a pig. I don't know whether this is to try and remind us of David Cameron, or actually I can't think of anything else it reminds us of. David Cameron, Donald Trump. But it's about lies, isn't it? Maybe it would have been better to have had a picture of Boris Johnson floating above the town, because Boris Johnson is the person who is the liar par excellence. Boris Johnson honed his skills in school and got better and better and better until he lied to the nation. Boris Johnson is the person who should have been presenting this figure to Starmer. He would have got away with it. Sunak just looked like a boy who's been found with urine-stained trousers. It's simply not possible to explain. And oh my goodness, the best Tory budget of a lifetime. That's what Farage said about Kwasi Kwarteng and Liz Truss's rubbish. There's so much hot air going around. I'm not surprised there's a picture of an inflatable pig, because the moment any politician at the moment opens their mouth, so much hot air is coming up. You could hold a balloon race. And there was a fellow on LBC this morning who was being interviewed and being asked about about this letter and about the £38 billion figure. And eventually he stopped the interview, because there's nothing you can say if you want to stick to the truth. You can't defend this dishonesty. And when people know that it's a lie, what can you do? Retreat like Rory Stewart and sit in the loo, because that's what he was forced to do the first time he tried to rebel against his whip. He sat in the loo and thought, my ministerial career is over, or my backbench career is over. Of course. The problem with modern politics is it's not for people who are prepared to tell the truth, because it's about slogans, and it's about repeating a lie until people get tired and believe it, I suppose. We need more grown-up politics, and we shouldn't be learning from what's happening with Trump. We should be learning perhaps rather more by looking at the relationship between little Bush and Clinton, because they seem, to all intents and purposes, to be friends. We should be looking at the friendship between Diane Abbott and Portillo. We should be looking at the friends that reach out across the party divides, whether here or in America or wherever, to see how that is done, and start to appreciate grown-up politics rather than this sort of throwing of fireworks, hoping that they're going to hit, fireworks made by somebody else, made by one of these spads in the in number 10 or somewhere. These libido people. Libido, it sounds like a biscuit and not a terribly nice one. And I think, what is he suggesting? That we should all be playing the biscuit game? It's or having another birthday cake and getting caught out having parties when we're not supposed to. This is all libido's about. Libido is not a serious individual, and we didn't vote for libido. We voted for the politicians who represent us, the politicians in our constituencies, and that's who we're voting for again. If we can, if there's anybody worth voting for. We're not voting for the Prime Minister or the Leader of the Opposition. We're voting for our constituency MP. So you need to look at them and see whether or not they are worth voting for. And I'm not sure. Bland, besuited, dull, a mouthpiece for somebody else. I'm not voting for that. I am not going to vote for libido. I'm not going to vote for somebody else to put words into the mouth of the MP who represents me. I would rather not vote if that's the case. Quite frankly, I have no interest in voting for some sort of second-rate actor. Incidentally, there is an actor standing in the Parliament. He's Gary, whatever he was. He was in Bread, and he's standing against Nigel Farage. I think we have to talk more about him, because he knows what it's like to recite lines that have been written by somebody else. And he certainly would be in a position to deliver those lines, and I suspect he would rebel against delivering lines written by somebody else. Unfortunately, I don't think he's a terribly scintillating MP. Is he better than Farage? No. Farage is the only one who seems to speak his own mind. I speak my own mind. I don't care what anyone says. Pint of beer. Ha! Let's have a drink. And the booze speaks. But it's better than listening to the lies put forward by the libido plan. We've got a plan, not my plan, Rishi might say. I've got a plan, not my plan. Someone else's plan. They drew it on the back of an envelope. What is the plan? It's not my plan, but we got a plan. So what? I don't care. I want to know what's in the plan. Not read it, just learnt it. What's the plan, Rishi? No, don't know. We've got a plan. Stop the boats! It's as if you got one of those old dolls with a sort of string. You pull the string, and out comes whatever slogan you've set up. Stop the boats! And just hope the battery wears out.